Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and this is just going to be a quick Friday Reads video. Again, I pilled my day away, and now it's too late for me to get in front of the camera because I would have to put on makeup and all of that. And I'm just going to do this real quick. It's raining outside, so I can't even take the books outside to my swing like I sometimes do. So let me just real quick show you what I finished this past week, and then we'll chat about what I'm currently reading and make it a wrap. So I have been reading Lark Rise to Candleford with the group for Pastoral June. I had already finished Lark Rise, which is book 1, and counted that for the Golden Girls Readathon. And this week I have finished Over to Candleford, which is book 2, and I'm only 4 chapters away from finishing the third book, which is Candleford Green. And all 3 of them are in this abridged bind-up, and this is an illustrated version, and it is just beautiful. Let me just show you a little bit of this book. It's just a stunning book, but sadly it is abridged. So I have been reading this in its entirety. That was my bookmark. that wasn't part of the book. That's a bookmark. I've been reading it in its entirety and listening to the full version of each book on audio on Scribd and just following along. So it takes a little more time to do it that way because I have to basically sit with it and follow along and then pick up the parts that are left out of this. But it has been still a very enjoyable reading experience, and we have started watching the show. We're doing a watch along also with the group, and the show is just wonderful. My husband and I have both been watching it. It's called Lark Rise to Candleford, and it kind of starts where book 3 starts, but then it goes back and it weaves in some storylines that that we've already read in books 1 and 2. So it's very good all around, the book or the show. And then I have also finished The True Love Quilting Club by WIlde. This is book 2 in the Twilight, Texas series. I read book 1, which is the Sweetheart Knitting Club, several years ago. It didn't have much to do with knitting, and this didn't have much to do with quilting. I think this probably had a little more to do with quilting than the other one had to do with knitting, but it's okay. It's basically a romance. The main protagonists, there is the hometown vet, and then his childhood sweetheart is a young woman who very soon after they kind of started falling in love, she left to follow her dream of being a movie star, basically. And she has done several things, but she refused to fall on the casting couch, and so became a little bit ostracized from any further work. And eventually she got a job at the local community theater in her hometown of Twilight, and so now she's back and is rekindling her relationship with Sam, who is the local veterinarian. So she's also deathly afraid of dogs. I think she was attacked by a dog when she was younger, and of course dogs and vets sort of go hand in hand, and he's got a really cool border collie, and it takes her a while to come around to being able to trust the dog and build a relationship with it. So I had hoped to be done with 3 of these by this point. I went back onto Hoopla. I listened to this on Hoopla, went back to check out the third book, and it was not there. Books 4 and 5 and 6 are there, but not book 3. It's on Scribd, but because I'm listening to these on Scribd, I wanted to finish all 3 of these just in case I would get cut off or something. I wanted to finish this. So it looks like I'm going to be able to get to this now that I'm almost done with this one, and I'll be able to pick this back up with the next book, and then I can go back to Hoopla. Hopefully the next one won't disappear before I get to that. And then I decided to go ahead and listen to The Cracked Spine by Paige Shelton. Nicole from Who Picked This Book and some of her friends have a book club where they read books together and they chat about them on Nicole's channel. And this was the book that they were reading this month. And so I decided to go ahead and listen to it. But I didn't get it done in time to watch the show live. But I finished it today, and I've been watching it. I've been watching it this afternoon. So next I'm going to show you what I'm currently reading. Okay, I had to change locations because my husband got home and he needed the room to shower and get dressed and everything. So now I'm in my daughter's room. I already mentioned, well, these are all my current reads that I'm actively reading or semi-actively reading. There's a couple more things on my currently reading list right now on Goodreads that I haven't picked up in a while. So I already mentioned Candleford Green. This is book 3 in the Lark Rise to Candleford series, and I'm listening to this on audio and also finishing up the bind up or the omnibus of all 3 books. And I may not probably get all of these finished by the end of the month, but so I've kind of been having to prioritize a little bit. This one's a library book, and so I am trying to make sure that I finish this one, The High King by Lloyd Alexander. This is book 5 in the Chronicles of Prydain, and this is just a fantasy adventure series, and it's just been really good. The friendships in here are just wonderful, and I have really been enjoying this series. And I don't read a lot of medieval fantasy type books, but I have really, really enjoyed this one. And that's the Newbery winner from 69, I believe, 1969. This is my own book, so it won't matter if I don't finish it, but it has just been a really fun book to read, even though I don't like the main character. She's been really snarky, and really there's not very many likable characters, but for some reason the book has been very enjoyable. So I don't know. I can't really explain that. This is a quilting mystery by Terri Thayer. It is called Wild Goose Chase. And so far, the story opens in a quilt expo, and this big famous quilter is murdered in her hotel room. And this one is one that I started back in January, and then I didn't pick it up for several months because it just didn't fit with any readathons. So I am determined to finish this one this month. This is my own book, so if I don't, it's fine, but I only have maybe 5 chapters left. And it's True Love and Homegrown Tomatoes by Julie Cannon. I'm not loving this. I also sent my sister a copy before I ever even started it, and she kind of said the same thing, and I get why. I'll talk more about it whenever I finish reading it. It's the first of a trilogy, and I definitely will read the trilogy, but there's just a couple of things about this that are kind of annoying, but overall, it's not bad. It's just not something that I absolutely love and would, recommend extremely highly. If you want to read it, it's a fun read, but it's got some issues. And then in my car, I have been listening to The Beekeeper's Ball by Susan Wiggs. So far, I'm enjoying this more than the other 2 I've read in this trilogy, although the main male character is super annoying, and he just really got off on a bad foot at the beginning of the story, and I thought, oh dear, please don't let him be the love interest. He's awful. He's getting better, but he didn't make a good first impression. And I've had this checked out for a while. I think I might have shown it in a video right after I first checked it out, and I was hesitant to pick it up at first, and now I have finally picked it up, and I've read a few chapters. Eat to Live by Joel Fuhrman. I'm going to give this a shot. It's not exactly what I agree with necessarily, but I'm willing to give it a try. He says, give it 6 weeks and see what you think. So when I get to the end of it, I will take the next 6 weeks and I will implement the eating strategies. These 2 I probably won't finish this month just because most of these I'm reading in print. All of them I'm reading in print except Beekeeper's Ball. I'm listening to that in my car. And I'm trying to do the watch along and also just, I don't know. There's just things in my life besides reading, believe it or not. And I sometimes neglect those things, but we've got 5 days after this, so I'm going to have to make some priorities. Anyway, though, I do want to read this. I will finish this up next month. RT, Margaret and the Rats of NIMH is book 3 in the Rats of NIMH trilogy by Jane Leslie Conley. Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim is the first book, and it's by Robert C. O'Brien. And Miss Conley, I believe, is the daughter of Robert C. O'Brien. This one has got just some little tiny chapters. It is a novel. When I first got this, I didn't think it was. I thought it was nonfiction. But it is just a crazy rodeo novel about these two cowboys. It's by Baxter Black. And when I showed this last time, I think I made it sound like Baxter Black is not living, but he is. He's 76, and he may still be on the radio. I'm not sure, but he is a radio commentator and author. And this is just a crazy cowboy adventure about rodeo cowboys. So I went to the Bookmobile yesterday. The Bookmobile has started running again in our county, and I picked up 2 of my most anticipated releases. I've had these in my possession before, and I didn't get to read them when I had them checked out the first time, and so I'm still not sure if I'll get to both of these. Oh, there's Sweetie. She's making a shadow. I don't want to move the camera all the way up, though, because Emily's bed is messy, but here she is. Hi, Sweetie. Miss Julia, Happily Ever After by Anne B. Ross is the most recent Miss Julia book. And then Calder Brand by Janet Dailey is a new book, but Janet Dailey, I'm pretty sure, passed away in like 2007. So I don't know if this was made from notes. Oh, the dogs are just playing. I don't know if this is made from notes that she left behind or if it's a re-release of something old. I don't know. I've been able to find out no information about it. And just for fun, I picked this up, the complete book of home organization and a cat. Sweetie move. I just like to look at books like this because my own house will probably never look like this. And, you know, a girl can always dream. So anyway, I just thought it looked like a fun book to pick up. I always like to help out the Bookmobile because whenever they get, you know, the more books they have checked out, the more they can stay, the more funding they get. So I always like to check some out, even if I'm not sure I'll get around to reading them. So tomorrow I may go with Katie to an event, and while she's at the event, we may do some book shopping. I don't know. It's going to be down near Miami. I don't know. It's kind of a spur of the moment thing. She asked me if I would go along, and of course Emily would have to go too, and we shall wait and see. But otherwise, I said, well, I'll go if you drive and I can read. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. That is my Friday reads, what I'm currently reading and what I have finished reading. And I'll be back soon with my July TBR and some book review videos and lots of other fun things. So stay tuned. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.